You'll need to move to the basement, dear, just temporarily, of course. My mother delivered this announcement with the same breezy tone she might use to comment on the weather. I stood in my kitchen, in my house, gripping my coffee mug so tightly I thought it might shatter. I'm Michelle, and this is the moment I finally snapped after 5 years of being the family doormat. The basement isn't finished, I said carefully, maintaining the practiced calm I'd perfected since my parents moved in. There's no heating down there. Oh, don't be dramatic. Mom waved her hand dismissively, adjusting the designer watch she somehow still afforded despite being supposedly broke. You're young and single. Talia needs the master bedroom for the baby. They'll be here for at least a month, maybe longer if the little one settles in well. My father didn't even look up from his newspaper. Your sister's starting a family, Michelle. It's different when you have actual responsibilities. The familiar sting of their casual cruelty made my coffee taste bitter. I watched Mom rearrange my fruit bowl. She'd been fixing my things since the day they moved in, and thought about the email sitting in my hidden folder, the one confirming the sale of my house to Riker Mason, closing in exactly 5 days. When are they arriving? I asked, already knowing the answer would make this even better. Saturday morning. I told them to come early so we can get everyone settled before the welcome dinner. Mom beamed. I've invited the whole family. It'll be wonderful to finally use this house for a proper gathering. I bit back a laugh. Saturday, perfect timing. And you're sure the basement is the only option? I kept my voice carefully neutral. What about the guest room? Don't be silly, Mom scoffed. Barrett needs somewhere to set up his workstation. He can't take paternity leave forever, you know. Besides, you're barely home anyway, always at that computer job of yours. I took another sip of coffee to hide my expression. 5 years of this. 5 years of them treating my home like their personal hotel, criticising my life choices and making me feel like an inconvenient tenant in my own space. Michelle? Dad finally looked up. Your mother's waiting for an answer. I set down my mug and pulled out my phone, pretending to check my calendar. Sure, the basement is fine. Whatever makes Talia comfortable. Mum's face lit up with surprised pleasure, probably because I hadn't argued. Oh, wonderful. I knew you'd understand. You've always been so practical. She managed to make it sound like an insult. I'll start moving my things today, I said, heading for the stairs. Wouldn't want to inconvenience anyone. That's the spirit, Mom called after me. Oh, and dear, could you clean out your closet too? Talia mentioned bringing her whole wardrobe, and you know how particular she is about her clothes. I paused on the stairs, thinking about the moving trucks I'd already scheduled, about the lease I'd signed on a downtown condo, about the look that would appear on their faces in 5 days when they realised their perfect little plan was about to implode. Of course, Mom, you'll get exactly what you want, I smiled sweetly. Just not the way you think. Upstairs in my room for just 5 more days, I pulled out my phone and texted Destiny. They took the bait. Operation Basement just kicked off. She replied instantly. OMG, they didn't. Please tell me you're recording all of this. I glanced at the small camera I'd hidden on my bookshelf weeks ago, its tiny red light blinking steadily. Every second, I typed back. Can't wait for them to explain to the new owner why they're planning a family dinner in his house. Looking around my room, I spotted the measuring tape Mom had left on my dresser earlier. She'd already been in here planning Talia's takeover. The entitlement was staggering. My phone buzzed again. This time it was an email from Riker. Final walkthrough confirmed for Friday at 2 p.m. Keys and paperwork Saturday at 9 a.m. sharp. I saved the email and took a deep breath, savouring the moment. They thought they were orchestrating another power play, another way to remind me that my life, my space, and my choices would always come second to everyone else's needs. But this time, I had orchestrated everything. This time, Karma was about to serve the coldest dish they'd ever tasted. I heard Mom downstairs, probably already planning where to put Talia's things. 5 days. I whispered to myself. 5 days until they learn what happens when you push someone too far. Remember when they first showed up? Destiny asked, helping me pack another box of books in secret. With just 2 suitcases, claiming it would only be for a month. I laughed bitterly, taping up the box and marking it "Donate," so my parents wouldn't get suspicious. How could I forget? Dad was crying about the investment scam, and Mom kept saying they just needed time to reorganize their finances. 5 years rent-free is one hell of a reorganization, Destiny muttered, pulling more books from my shelf. The memory of that rainy night flooded back. Dad standing on my porch, his proud shoulders finally slumped in defeat. Just until we get back on our feet, sweetheart. 3 months tops, Mom adding, we'd never ask if we had any other option. I'd believed them. God help me, I'd actually believed them. You know what the worst part was? I said, checking my bedroom door was still closed. They never even thanked me, not once in 5 years. Tell me about the first red flag, Destiny prompted, knowing I needed to process this. 3 weeks in, I had a date with this guy, James. Mum cornered me as I was getting ready, asking if I really thought going out was appropriate when the family is in crisis. She made me feel so selfish for having a life while they were struggling. And you cancelled. Of course I cancelled. Then it became a pattern. Every time I had plans, there was some emergency. Dad needed help applying for jobs. Mum was too stressed to cook. The Wi-Fi needed upgrading for their job searches. I shook my head, except Dad never actually looked for work, and Mom spent her days watching reality TV and reorganising my kitchen. My phone buzzed. A text from Mum. Honey, could you pick up some organic coffee? The regular stuff upsets my stomach. And maybe some nice cheese for the welcome dinner. Your father's been craving that expensive brie. Destiny read over my shoulder and snorted. Still spending your money like water, I see. You should see my credit card statement. Last month they charged $800 at Whole Foods. Didn't even ask first. How did you keep this secret for so long? Destiny gestured at the boxes we'd been sneaking out to her garage for weeks. Selling the house, finding a new place. They never paid attention to my actual life, too busy planning Talia's baby shower, or criticising my career choices, or telling everyone how generous they were to help me maintain such a big house. I mimicked Mom's condescending tone. A knock at my bedroom door made us freeze. Michelle? It was Dad. Your mother wants to know if you've started clearing space in your closet yet. Talia just called. She's bringing more things than we thought. Working on it now, I called back, hearing his footsteps retreat. Destiny waited until we were sure he was gone. Speaking of Talia, have you told her anything? No point. She's Mom's perfect mini-me. When I complained about them missing rent again last year, she said I was being petty. They're our parents, Michelle. You can't expect them to pay rent like common tenants. Bet she'll sing a different tune on Saturday. Destiny's eyes gleamed. What time is that welcome dinner supposed to start? 6 p.m. Mum's invited every relative within driving distance. Meanwhile, Riker gets his keys at 9 a.m. I couldn't help smirking. Should be an interesting day. Michelle! Mum's voice floated up the stairs. Don't forget, we need to clear your bathroom too. Talia will need all the counter space for the baby supplies. Destiny raised an eyebrow. You know they're going to lose their minds when they find out, right? This isn't going to be a clean break. Nothing about this family has ever been clean, I replied, sealing another box. 5 years of manipulation, guilt trips, and treating me like their personal ATM. They can handle 1 day of chaos. My phone buzzed again. This time it was an email from the moving company confirming Friday's appointment. Everything had to be timed perfectly. Get my stuff out before the final walkthrough, keep the family distracted, and let the bomb drop at exactly the right moment. I should feel guilty, I said quietly. But all I feel is tired. So tired of being the responsible one, the practical one, the one who always has to sacrifice. Destiny squeezed my shoulder. You gave them 5 years. They gave you nothing but disrespect. Sometimes the kindest thing you can do is let people face the consequences of their actions. Another knock, more insistent this time. Michelle, are you going to get that coffee? And we need to discuss the sleeping arrangements in the basement. Your father thinks we should move some of your furniture down there to make space for Talia's nursery furniture upstairs. I looked at Destiny and mouthed, 5 more days. She grinned and whispered back, 5 days until Karma comes, collecting 5 years of overdue rent. Talia swept into my house like a hurricane, baby carrier in one hand, designer diaper bag in the other. Oh my God, Michelle, your front yard needs so much work. Have you considered hiring a landscaper? Behind her, Barrett mouthed, sorry, while juggling 3 suitcases. I helped him with the bags, earning a grateful smile. The guest room is upstairs, first door on the... I started. Oh no, Mom interrupted, rushing forward to hug Talia. We've arranged for them to have the master bedroom, much more appropriate for a young family. Talia beamed. Perfect. Barrett, honey, take everything up there. And be careful with my skincare bag. Those serums are worth more than your laptop. I watched them climb the stairs, remembering how many extra hours I'd worked to afford the down payment on this house. Now I was being relegated to the basement while they divided up my space like conquered territory. Michelle? Barrett's voice drifted down. Where should I put the baby's portable crib? Before I could answer, Mom called up, use Michelle's reading nook by the window. She never uses it anyway, always working on that computer. I gritted my teeth and headed to the kitchen to start dinner. Mom had requested I cook for everyone tonight, claiming Talia needed rest after their 3-hour drive. The guest room is awfully small, Talia announced following me. How do you expect Barrett to set up his workstation in there? He could use the dining room, I suggested, knowing it wouldn't matter in a few days. Don't be ridiculous, Mom chimed in. That's where we're hosting the welcome dinner. 30 people are coming, Michelle. We need that space. I nearly dropped the pan I was holding. 30 people? Well, everyone wants to meet the baby, Talia said, as if it was the most natural thing in the world to invite 30 people to someone else's house without asking. Oh, and Aunt Linda might stay the weekend. She's driving in from out of state. The sound of furniture being dragged across my bedroom floor echoed from upstairs. Mum must have noticed my expression because she quickly added, Don't worry, dear. We'll handle all the arrangements. You just need to help with the cooking and maybe pick up some extra groceries. And wine, Talia added. Lots of wine. Premium stuff, not that cheap brand you usually buy. I stirred the pasta sauce with more force than necessary. Anything else? Actually, Mum began, but Barrett appeared in the doorway looking uncomfortable. Michelle, could we talk for a minute? He asked quietly. I followed him into the living room, leaving Mom and Talia to critique my kitchen organisation. Barrett ran a hand through his hair, clearly struggling with what to say. Look, I know this is a lot, he started, and the way they're just taking over your space. It's fine, I cut him off, not wanting his pity. No, it's not fine. I've seen how they treat you. Even Talia. He trailed off, loyalty to his wife, warring with his conscience. Just, are you okay? Before I could respond, a crash came from upstairs, followed by Mom's voice. Michelle, could you come help? We're trying to move your dresser to make room for Talia's vanity. Barrett winced. I should go help them before they break something. Too late, I muttered, heading upstairs to find my jewellery box knocked over, its contents scattered across the floor. Mum was already directing Barrett to shift my heavy oak dresser while Talia supervised from the doorway, baby in arms. Oh, good, you're here, Mum said. While we're at it, we should really clean out your closet properly. Talia, show her the nursery mood board you created on Pinterest. Talia pulled out her phone excitedly. I'm thinking soft grey walls, crystal chandelier, custom crib. You're planning to paint? I interrupted. Well, these beige walls are so dated. Talia wrinkled her nose. Don't worry, we'll have it done professionally. You can just add it to your monthly expenses. I bent down to pick up my scattered jewellery, finding the delicate bracelet Dad had given me for my 16th birthday broken in the chaos. As I held the pieces, a notification popped up on my phone. an HOA letter confirming the new owner's parking permits. Mum glanced over. "What's that?" "Just spam," I said quickly, but not before she caught a glimpse of the HOA logo. Her eyes narrowed slightly. "Are you sure? It looked like—" "Michelle," Talia called from my bathroom, "we need to clear all these cabinets. Where should we put your things?" I pocketed the broken bracelet and forced a smile. "The basement, I guess. Where else would they go?" Mum studied me for a moment longer before turning back to direct more furniture movement, but I could tell the seed of suspicion had been planted. 3 days left, just 3 more days of this circus, and then they'd all learn what happens when you push someone past their breaking point. "Michelle, we need to talk." Mum cornered me in the laundry room the next morning, holding up the HOA letter she'd obviously dug out of my purse. "What is this about new owner parking permits?" I kept folding towels, grateful I'd prepared for this moment. Probably for the new people moving in next door. The Andersons sold their house last month. "Don't lie to me." Her voice took on that dangerous sweetness I knew too well. "Are you selling this house?" "Mom, I'm late for work." I tried to step around her, but she blocked the doorway. "Answer me." "No, I'm not selling the house." Technically true, I'd already sold it. "Now please move." She reluctantly stepped aside, but I could feel her eyes burning into my back as I headed upstairs. In the kitchen, Talia was making a list of demands for the welcome dinner while Barrett bottle-fed the baby. "Michelle," Talia called out, "I invited a few more people for the weekend. Hope that's okay." I paused. "How many is a few?" "Just my college roommates. They're dying to see the baby. Oh, and their husbands, and Karen's bringing her kids." She tapped her pen against her lips. "Maybe 8 more, 10 max." "Where exactly do you expect them to sleep?" "Well, the living room has plenty of space for air mattresses," she said, as if this was the most reasonable thing in the world. "And we could put some in your office." "My office? I work from there." "Oh, please," she rolled her eyes. "You can work from the basement for a few days. It's not like you have an actual job. Barrett looked up sharply. "Talia, that's not—" "Where's the liquor cabinet?" Dad interrupted, walking in. "We need more space in the dining room for the party, so I'm moving it to the garage." "There is no liquor cabinet," I said through gritted teeth. "Those are my personal bottles on the bar cart." "Perfect. I'll use those for the dinner." He started gathering my expensive whiskey collection. "Your mother wants to know if you've finished clearing your closet yet." I checked my phone. A text from Destiny. "Riker wants to do the walkthrough earlier tomorrow. Says 11 a.m. works better." "Michelle?" Dad was waiting for an answer. "The closet's done," I lied, knowing it wouldn't matter in 36 hours. "Good girl." He patted my head like I was still 12. "Now about the basement. We need to move your bed down there today. Aunt Linda just called. She's arriving tonight instead of Saturday." I nearly dropped my phone. "Tonight?" "Yes, and she'll need the guest room, obviously." Mum swept in, still clutching the HOA letter. "Barrett can help you move everything after dinner." Barrett looked up again. "Actually, I wanted to talk to everyone about—" "Not now, honey," Talia cut him off. "We need to discuss the seating arrangement for Saturday. Michelle, we'll need to borrow your credit card for the rental chairs." "Absolutely not." The kitchen fell silent. I'd never said no to them before. Not like this, not with such finality. "Excuse me," Mom's eyes narrowed. "I said no. No more charges on my credit card. No more surprise guests. No more rearranging my entire life because you all think my home is a free hotel." Talia's mouth fell open. "Why are you being so selfish? We're family." "Family?" I laughed. "Family doesn't treat each other like this." "Like what?" Mum demanded. "Like we're imposing, after everything we've done for you." "Done for me?" My voice rose. "You've lived here rent-free for 5 years. You've maxed out my credit cards, criticised my life choices, and now you're throwing a party I never agreed to." "Keep your voice down," Dad warned. "You're upsetting the baby." I grabbed my keys. "I'm going to work. When I get back, I expect my whiskey collection exactly where it was, and no one better touch my office." "Michelle, Mum started, but Barrett stood up suddenly. "No, let her go." His voice was quiet but firm. "She's right. We've all been taking advantage, and it needs to stop." Talia gasped. "Barrett!" I left before they could respond, but not before I heard Mom say, "Something's going on with her. Did you see this HOA letter? She's hiding something." In my car, I texted Destiny. "They're spiralling. Mum found the letter. Tell Riker tomorrow's walkthrough needs to be quick and quiet." She replied instantly, "On it. How are you holding up?" I started the engine, watching through the window as my family huddled in the kitchen, probably plotting their next move. "I'm fine, just ready for this to be over." 36 hours, she texted back. "Then you never have to set foot in that basement." I pulled out of the driveway, noticing Mom watching from the window. Let her suspect, let her worry. In less than 2 days, they'd all learn what happens when you mistake kindness for weakness. "And this is the master bedroom," I said quietly, leading Riker through my increasingly chaotic house. Though as you can see, it's currently occupied. Riker raised an eyebrow at the designer baby gear scattered everywhere and Talia's clothes draped across my bed. "I thought you said you lived alone." "She does," Barrett said from the doorway, making us both jump. "Sorry, didn't mean to startle you. I'm Barrett, her brother-in-law." He looked at me knowingly. "This must be the friend who's moving in soon." "Something like that," I managed, silently praying he wouldn't blow my cover. "Just showing him around." "Right." Barrett's eyes moved between us. "Well, your mom's looking for you. Something about needing your signature for a furniture delivery." "What furniture delivery?" But I already knew. Mom had probably ordered something ridiculous for the welcome dinner. "A custom dining set," Barrett confirmed. "She said the old one wasn't suitable for Saturday's party." Riker checked his watch. "I should get going. We'll finalise everything tomorrow at 11. I nodded, walking him downstairs past Mom and Talia, who were rearranging my living room furniture for the party. Mom's eyes tracked us suspiciously. "Who was that?" she demanded as soon as Riker left. "Just a friend." "Since when do you have male friends?" Talia smirked. "Is he single? Though he's probably not interested in someone so practical." "Michelle," Mom cut in, "about that dining set." "No," I held up my hand. "I'm not signing for anything. Cancel it." "But the party is not happening," I snapped, then immediately regretted showing my hand. Mum's eyes narrowed. "What do you mean, not happening?" "Of course it's happening. Everyone's already RSVP'd." "To a party they weren't invited to in a house that's..." I caught myself. "In my house, without asking me." "Why are you being so difficult?" Talia whined. "It's for the baby." "Everything's for the baby," I exploded. The master bedroom, the office, the living room reorganisation, the furniture delivery, the constant stream of guests. When does it end? "When you start acting like family," Mum said coldly. "Speaking of which, we need to discuss this HOA letter. I called them this morning." My blood ran cold. "You did what?" "They wouldn't tell me anything, of course. Said the information was confidential." She crossed her arms. "What are you hiding, Michelle?" Before I could respond, Dad walked in with another box of my things from upstairs. "The basement's ready for your bed. Barrett and I can move it down now." "No," my voice was shaking. "No more moving my things. No more taking over my spaces. No more..." "Michelle." Barrett's quiet voice cut through my panic. He jerked his head toward the kitchen and I followed him gratefully. Once we were alone, he spoke softly. "The house is sold, isn't it?" "That man wasn't your friend. He's the buyer." I stared at him, trying to decide how much to reveal. "It's okay," he continued. "I've been watching how they treat you. I've tried talking to Talia about it, but..." He shrugged helplessly. "Saturday," I whispered. "He takes possession Saturday morning." Barrett let out a low whistle. "The same day as the party." "They didn't exactly give me a chance to tell them." "Fair point." He ran a hand through his hair. Look, I won't say anything, but you should know. Your mum's been making calls. She's suspicious and she's not going to stop until she figures it out. As if on cue, Mum's voice carried from the living room. Yes, hello, I'm calling about property records for this address. Michelle, Talia called out, the caterers need a deposit. Where's your credit card? I pulled out my phone and texted Destiny. Mum's digging. We need to move faster. Her reply was instant. On it. Moving truck coming tonight instead of tomorrow. Tell them you're donating old furniture or something. Barrett read the text over my shoulder and nodded. I'll keep them distracted. But, Michelle, he touched my arm gently. Whatever happens tomorrow, know that at least one person in this family understands why you're doing this. Michelle, Mum's voice was getting closer. Why is there a moving truck company in your recent calls? I looked at Barrett desperately. He squeezed my shoulder and walked out to intercept her, saying loudly, Oh, that was me. I was checking prices for moving some of our old baby furniture. I slipped out the back door, texting Destiny again. Coming to your place now. Everything's falling apart. Her response made me smile for the first time that day. Let it fall. Sometimes you need to break something completely before you can build something better. 24 hours. Just 24 more hours until they all learned what happens when you mistake silence for acceptance. Saturday morning dawned bright and clear. I sat at my kitchen table, sipping coffee, waiting. The closing documents were signed. Riker would be here in exactly 15 minutes. Mum bustled in, already stressed about the party. Michelle, why aren't you dressed? The decorators will be here at 10. No, they won't. I kept my voice steady, though my hands shook slightly around my mug. Of course they will. I confirmed yesterday. She started pulling out serving platters. And the caterers come at 2, so we need to... The doorbell rang. That's odd, Mom frowned. It's too early for anyone to... I stood up. I'll get it. Riker stood on my porch, right on time, holding a folder of papers. Behind him a moving truck pulled up to the curb. Good morning, he said professionally. Ready to do this? Mum appeared behind me. Ready to do what, Michelle? What's going on? I stepped aside to let Riker in. Everyone should probably come downstairs. Who is this man? Why is there a moving truck outside? Mum's voice rose with each question. I'll explain everything. Just get everyone down here. 5 minutes later, my entire family sat in the living room. Dad looked confused, Talia was texting furiously about the party details, and Mum kept staring between me and Riker with growing suspicion. I sold the house, I said simply. The silence was deafening. What? Mom whispered. The house is sold. Closing was yesterday. Riker is the new owner and he takes possession. I checked my watch. Right now, actually. Talia dropped her phone. This is a joke, right? What about the party? What about the baby? Not my problem anymore. I pulled out the final paperwork. You all have 2 hours to pack your things and leave. You can't do this, Mom shrieked, jumping to her feet. We're your family. This is our home. No, I said firmly. This was my home, the home you invaded 5 years ago with promises of just a few months. The home you took over, room by room, decision by decision, until I was sleeping in the basement to make room for everyone else's comfort. We had nowhere else to go, Dad protested. You had options. You chose to take advantage of me instead. 5 years of no rent, no contributions, just criticism and demands. But the party? Talia was nearly crying. Everyone's coming. Where are we supposed to go? Again, not my problem. I turned to Riker. The house is yours. Do you need anything else from me? He shook his head, looking uncomfortable but determined. No, we're all set. Though I do need everyone out by noon so the moving company can start bringing in my furniture. This is illegal. Mom grabbed her phone. I'm calling our lawyer. Actually, Barrett spoke up from the corner. It's not illegal. Michelle owned the house. You've never had a lease, never paid rent. Legally, you're just long-term guests who've overstayed their welcome." Everyone turned to stare at him. "You knew about this," Talia gasped. "And you didn't tell me." "I found out yesterday," he said quietly. "And honestly, I don't blame her." "How dare you?" Mom pointed a shaking finger at me. "After everything we've done for you." "Everything you've done for me?" I laughed. "Let's list what you've done. Maxed out my credit cards, criticized my career, pushed me out of my own bedroom, invited endless guests without asking, treated me like a maid in my own home. Should I continue?" "Where are we supposed to go?" Dad asked, his voice small. "You could try getting a job," I suggested, "or selling some of those designer clothes you somehow still afford, or asking your perfect daughter for help, since she's so much more successful than me." Talia burst into tears. Barrett moved to comfort her, but she pushed him away. "The moving truck will be here at noon," I said, picking up my purse. "I suggest you start packing." "Michelle, please," Mum tried one last time. "We can talk about this, work something out. We had 5 years to work something out. You chose to take advantage instead." I walked to the door, then turned back. "Oh, and Mom, remember last week when you said the basement would be fine for me because I'm practical?" She stared at me, speechless. "You were right. I am practical. Practical enough to plan my escape from toxic people who mistake kindness for weakness." I smiled. "Good luck with the party." I walked out, hearing the chaos erupt behind me. Talia's sobs, Mom's threats, Dad's confused protests. But over it all, I heard Barrett's quiet voice. "She gave you 5 years. You gave her no choice." In my car, I texted Destiny. "It's done." Her reply came instantly. "How do you feel?" I watched through the windshield as my family frantically made calls, probably trying to find somewhere to go. 5 years of built-up resentment finally released. "Free," I typed back. "I finally feel free." I sat in Destiny's car across the street, watching the chaos unfold. Moving trucks lined the curb, Rikers moving in, my family moving out. The irony wasn't lost on me. "There goes your mum's designer lamp collection," Destiny commented as the movers carried out boxes. "The ones she bought with your credit card." "And there goes Talia's nursery furniture," I added, "still in the original packaging." My phone hadn't stopped buzzing since I left. Texts from relatives, mostly angry ones. Aunt Linda's was particularly colourful. 30 people are driving in for this party. How could you be so heartless?" "Oh, look," Destiny pointed. "Your dad finally found his boxes of business magazines, the ones he swore would help him restart his career." I watched him shuffle down the driveway, shoulders slumped. For a moment, I felt a twinge of something. Not quite guilt, but something close. "Don't!" Destiny warned, reading my expression. "Don't you dare feel bad about this." "I don't. It's just nothing. They had 5 years to do the right thing." A commotion drew our attention back to the house. Mom was arguing with Riker on the front porch, waving papers in his face. "Should we—" Destiny started. "Yeah?" I sighed, getting out of the car. As we approached, Mom's voice carried across the lawn. "These receipts prove we've contributed to this household. We have rights." "Mrs. Mackenzie," Riker said calmly, "grocery receipts charged to your daughter's credit card don't constitute rent payments." "Mom," I called out, "stop embarrassing yourself." She whirled around, mascara streaked down her face. "You! How could you do this to your own family? Where's your sister supposed to go with a newborn?" "Maybe to her own house," I suggested. "The one she and Barrett actually own but didn't want to waste living in while they could stay here instead." "That house needs renovations," Talia shouted from the driveway, bouncing her crying baby. "It's not ready. Not my problem anymore." I turned to Riker. "I'm sorry about this. They'll be gone soon." "Actually," Barrett stepped forward, phone in hand, "I just booked us a short-term rental, 3 bedrooms, fully furnished, ready today." Talia stared at him. "But that must cost—" Yes, he cut her off. It does cost money. Amazing how that works when you actually have to pay for things yourself. Mum collapsed onto the porch steps, sobbing dramatically. My own daughter throwing us out on the street. Oh, please, Destiny snapped. You have options. You choose not to use them because it's easier to guilt Michelle into supporting you. Dad emerged from the garage, looking lost. The moving truck is full. They say we need another one for the rest. The rest of what? I asked incredulously. How much stuff did you accumulate in my house? Our house, Mum corrected automatically. No, Riker stepped in. Her house, and now my house, and it's noon. As if on cue, his moving truck pulled up. But the party, Talia tried one last time. All those people are your problem, I finished. Maybe you can host them at your actual house. You know, the one you own. Barrett was already loading their suitcases into his SUV. Talia, come on, the rental's ready. Michelle, Dad said quietly, can we at least talk about this? We had 5 years to talk about it. You had 5 years to appreciate what I gave you, to show basic respect, to act like actual parents instead of entitled house guests. I felt tears threatening but pushed them back. Time's up. Mom stood suddenly, straightening her designer blouse. Fine, but don't come crying to us when you realise what you've thrown away. What exactly have I thrown away? I asked. The privilege of being your personal bank? The joy of being criticised in my own home? The honour of sleeping in a basement while you gave away my bedroom? She had no answer for that. One by one, they loaded into their vehicles. Barrett gave me a small nod as he helped Talia in. Dad couldn't meet my eyes. Mum stared straight ahead, lips trembling. As they pulled away, Destiny squeezed my hand. You okay? I watched the cars disappear around the corner, followed by the moving truck full of 5 years' worth of their accumulated possessions. Behind us, Riker's movers started bringing in his furniture. Actually, I said, surprising myself, I am okay. My phone buzzed again, a message from Barrett. For what it's worth, you did the right thing. They needed this wake-up call. Then another text from Mom. I hope you're happy with yourself. I looked at my old house, now Riker's house, and felt the weight of 5 years lifting from my shoulders. I am, I whispered, then typed it as my reply. I am happy with myself. Finally. Destiny linked her arm through mine. Ready to go see your new place? Your furniture's already there. I nodded, turning away from the house for the last time. Ready for my life to be my own again. The morning sun streamed through my condo's floor-to-ceiling windows as I sipped coffee on my balcony. My phone buzzed. Another message from Barrett. Thought you'd want to know, his text read. Your parents finally signed a lease on an apartment. Talia's furious they didn't move in with her instead. I smiled, remembering the chaos of the past few weeks. The angry calls had slowly died down. The flying monkeys, relatives enlisted to guilt me, had given up. Even Mum's dramatic social media posts about ungrateful children had tapered off. My doorbell rang. Destiny stood there with breakfast bagels and a gleam in her eye. You need to see this, she said, pulling out her phone. Your Mum's latest Facebook post. I read it aloud. After much reflection, I realise our actions may have contributed to recent family difficulties. Pride and entitlement clouded our judgment. To our eldest daughter, we understand now what we took for granted. Keep reading, Destiny urged. While we cannot undo the past, we hope to rebuild bridges through honesty and respect. Starting over is hard, but necessary. We are learning difficult lessons about independence and accountability. Wow, I breathed. That's unexpected. Check the comments, Destiny grinned. Talia had commented, Mom, what are you saying? Michelle's the one who abandoned us. But Barrett replied, No, Talia. Your parents lived rent-free in her house for 5 years while criticising and controlling her life. Actions have consequences. My phone buzzed again, Dad, this time. I'm sorry, not for the Facebook drama, but for real. We took advantage of your kindness and called it love. You deserved better. Are you going to respond? Destiny asked. I thought about it. Not yet. Words are easy. I need to see actions. Speaking of actions, she pulled up a real estate listing on her phone. Guess who's finally renovating their house instead of making excuses? The photos showed Talia's place undergoing serious updates. The comments section revealed the truth. Barrett had put his foot down, insisted they make their own home livable instead of relying on others. My doorbell rang again. This time it was a delivery, a small package from Mom. Inside was my broken bracelet from that day in my bedroom, professionally repaired. The note read, I broke this while taking over your space. Like this bracelet, some things can be fixed with time and effort, but only if both sides want to try. When you're ready, we'd like to earn back your trust. No demands, no guilt, no expectations. Just accountability and respect. Love, Mom. Well, Destiny raised an eyebrow. It's a start, I said carefully, but I'm not rushing back into anything. My phone lit up with a text from Barrett. Your mum's in therapy, Dad's interviewing for jobs, Talia's working on it. You shook them all awake. I walked to my balcony, looking out over my new view. No more basement, no more guilt, no more sacrificing my peace for others' comfort. You know what the biggest change is? I told Destiny. The silence. No one barging into my space, criticizing my choices, demanding my resources. Freedom looks good on you, she smiled. Another text from Mum. We're learning to stand on our own feet again. Thank you for forcing us to remember how. I typed back. Actions speak louder than words. Show me who you've become, not who you promised to be. Her response was immediate. We will, for as long as it takes. Destiny read over my shoulder. You know, most revenge stories end with destruction. Yours ended with growth. Not revenge, I corrected. Boundaries. Sometimes the kindest thing you can do for someone is stop enabling their worst behaviour. My phone buzzed one final time, an email notification. The blog post I'd written about my experience had gone viral. My parents lived rent-free in my house for 5 years. Here's how I finally took it back. The comments section was filled with similar stories, people finding courage in my words to reclaim their own lives. I smiled, remembering Mum's favourite saying, family is everything. She was right, just not the way she meant it. Family is everything, including the family you choose, the boundaries you set, and the strength you find when you finally stand up for yourself. So, Destiny said, ready to host a housewarming party? You know, one where you actually want the guests to be here. I looked around my peaceful, private space, my rules, my life. Yes, I said, but this time I'm sending the invitations.